Claire Curran.
Chair, before I speak on the title and commencement clause, can I just acknowledge my colleague Megan Woods and Eugenie Sage and Dennis O'Rourke for the heavy lifting they've done on this bill in the House tonight. An alternative title for this bill should be the Environment Canterbury Entrenchment of Anti-Democracy Bill. This is a frightening piece of legislation, an absolutely frightening piece of legislation. Nobody on that side of the House, unless they are prepared to get up and take a call and argue this, should have should actually have anything to say about it. Notice they've all been completely quiet about it. Mr. Chair, this is a frightening piece of legislation. It's a frightening piece of legislation on a number of levels. I want to speak to some of them when addressing the title and commencement. My biggest concern is that, and I think Megan Woods actually alluded to this at one point during the debate tonight, was around this being a pilot project that could be used for other regional councils, how other regional councils, the governance arrangements of regional councils could be. The Minister's made it very clear in the chair tonight that the DHB model of governance that has been imposed on regional government through the this Environment Canterbury Bill is a viable model that could be used and implemented in other spheres and other parts of the country. I think that is the chilling effect of this, and it's a warning, essentially, this bill. It's a warning to any other regional council in New Zealand that dares to get out of line, to speak out of line, that this model could be imposed upon them, which is this mixed model governance of appointed and elected people. Under the DHB model, which was brought in for a completely different environment. It's taxation. It's the distribution of taxation at the national level. Instead, here we have regional government. New Zealand does not have that many levels of government. We are not like Australia, where you have federal government, you have states, and then you have regional, and then city councils. We have a very small number of tiers of government. We do not have two houses in our parliament. We have one house in our parliament. Therefore, our levels of government are extremely important, and we should treat them with respect, Mr. Chair, but we're not. This government is not treating this level of government with respect, and what the fear is with this bill is that this will be used as a model that could be imposed in other areas, and I think that's something that that everybody should be really afraid of. It sends an unsubtle message to other councils that they may suffer the same fate if they oppose the government. Transition legislation was not needed. It was not needed. It could have. This is 9 years. This will end up being. This is not transition. This is actually entrenchment, which is why the alternative title that I have suggested is the entrenchment of anti-democracy, because this is not transition. It's entrenchment. The public sentiment was very strong. And another point that was made during the debate tonight was around the skill sets of the appointed people. And the point that my colleague David Parker made is that if the government was so keen on those skill sets, there could be encouragement for those people to be standing for elected positions. And if it is that the only way that we can get the right skill sets into our levels of government is that you have to appoint them, Mr. Chair, Mr Chair.
Dennis O'Rourke.